Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Football Fix, Fantasy Football Fix. My name is Tom Murphy Jr., and I'm here with Walton Spurlin of Pro Football Focus. And this is the Fantasy Football Fix for Week 14, which, while it's playoff season for most leagues, it's a big week. What are you most excited about this weekend as far as fantasy football goes?
Well, it's great to be back, Tom. Like you said, it is fantasy football playoff time. You know, the divisions get much bigger. The excitement over there. Every roster move is important, and I think we'll start out with something we were touching on before the show. I think what I'm most excited about is to see which one of the running backs I did have in my lineup this week is going to perform like Derrick Henry, who I had on my bench last night.
Oh, nothing more brutal than that. I did the same thing. If you go back on the guy's game log, I think the most points he's had all season was 17, but he averages probably like 5 or 6 points a week, as far as fantasy football is concerned. And yeah, I did too. I think me and a lot of other people made that same mistake.
Yeah, and the numbers bore out that decision, though. So, I mean, whether I win or lose this week, I'll have the clean conscience of I wasn't really struggling like, I should have Derrick Henry or should I have this guy. No, Derrick Henry has left a lot of teams, drying on the vine this year. I've had him all season. I started him early in the year, and then I started him with bye weeks and stuff. But, there were no signs. The Jacksonville defense coming off the shutout. It looked like maybe they were showing a bit of light. It turned out that wasn't the case. But it's something else. It's just to touch on it when you talk about what I'm excited about. I'm not so excited about this, but, how amazing is it that we're going into Week 14, the fantasy playoff, that you fight and struggle from draft day on. You're loving your draft day lineup. And then we're heading into Week 14. There's no Melvin Gordon. There's no Kareem Hunt. There's no John Connor. There was never a Le'Veon Bell. Matt Breida's even out. So it's like you're struggling to with all these big names out at running back, especially. We're talking about Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, think guys like that. Jalen Samuel, I believe the guy.
Yeah, Samuels. Yeah, out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's like they said, it's such a marathon, but it just seems like this year, from any other I can remember in the past few seasons, maybe 10 years, this many big name running backs being out at playoff time. And you don't know when they're going to come back. Kerryon Johnson of our Lions here out. I don't know if they're going to sit him or roll him out at all. So owners, I get a lot of questions on Twitter because I live here and they're asking me, what are you hearing about Johnson? I don't think we're hearing the truth. I don't think we get that from Patricia. So, yeah. But it's just tough to get. You fight, you struggle, and you get into your playoffs, and you have to down the stretch here. You're hoping that you're in the right waiver wire position to be able to cover your hind end with all the guys that are going out.
Yeah, that's it's always a challenge, especially this late in the season, because guys, it started wearing down. But this year it's just so different because like I said, Le'Veon Bell just never showed up this year, and then now you got Kareem Hunt, who's not out from injury but from scandal, if you will. So you're looking at these guys as replacements, and where out in Kansas City is he's all right, but man, it's just a tough loss. That's a real tough loss for if you had Kareem Hunt.
Right, and if you picked up where I have down in my notes, he didn't do a whole lot last week. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot this week because that Baltimore Ravens run defense is brutal.
Yeah.
They've only given up one running back who rushed for 100 yards against them this year, and only two running backs have gotten over 65 yards. As a defense, they only allow 65 rushing yards per game. So, those people that backed up the Kareem Hunt with Spencer Ware as the handcuffs, if you have to start him, you have to start him, but really temper your expectations.
Yeah. Speaking of that matchup, Patrick Mahomes still seems to be the hottest quarterback in the league. Pretty much seems like he just throws 4 touchdowns a week on average, which is just insane. Do you expect that kind of production from him this weekend, or is that Baltimore defense just are they going to be a real tough matchup for Mahomes?
I still like Mahomes, and he's a guy that just keeps getting it done. Again, I think the Baltimore run defense is more solid than their pass defense, so I think that they're going to look to get Tyreek Hill involved. Ware can catch the ball out of the backfield. That might be where you can get a lot of his production. It's just, you watch it, and, I think we've all kind of waited for Mahomes to slow down. And, yeah, he makes his share of rookie mistakes. That's why, the team scores a ton of points, but you're not that bad off in a lot of games playing the team defense against them because they do play a little fast and loose with the ball, but I think that works. I think it's going to be interesting because I love this quarterback matchup because I believe, even though Flacco's back practicing, that I really like Lamar Jackson this week. That kid is shining, and he's almost like having another running back.
Yeah.
In the games he's played, he's rushed the ball 55 times, 260 yards, 2 TDs. He's only got 1 TD pass and 3 interceptions, but so what? You get those rushing yards. I think, again, I love the offensive players going up against the Chiefs because they're high-scoring games. The Chiefs defense isn't dominant. They've come on a bit lately, D4, Justin Houston gets the sacks just because teams have to throw against them so much. But I think Jackson, I could see one of those games. I remember back a few years ago when Colin Kaepernick just ate up Green Bay. I think rushed for about almost 200 yards. And I could see something like that from Jackson. And I think this game, I don't generally say this about Baltimore Ravens games, pre-Lamar Jackson. This could be exciting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Another game that's going to be real exciting, I think, is the Sunday night matchup with the Rams and Bears. In Chicago, it's going to be cold. Are the Rams, are they built for this type of game? They're going to play against a strong defense on the road in the cold. You've seen that the Lions were kind of able to shut them down a little bit last week. Is this a matchup where fantasy owners should be very wary of a Rams offense with, if you have Goff or Woods, Brandon Cooks, Todd Gurley? Is this a really, really tough matchup, or do you think the Rams will be able to put up a decent number of points?
I think you bring up a great point in the weather. A lot of it will depend on that, but obviously you always start Gurley. I think Goff should be okay. I worry about obviously what you have to worry about against the Bears is the pass rush, but it seems to me like that Bears team is really starting to come back down to earth. I know Trubisky's supposed to return and play this week, but he's not all that lights out. I don't know. I think the Bears' game plan is going to be kind of what the Lions were trying to do. You shut down the run, you make them pass, you hope for bad weather. I still think the Rams have enough weapons, but I think if the Bears, you do what the Lions didn't do enough of early, but did a little bit late. You attack by running the ball on the interior. You use Jordan Howard. Tariq Cohen's a great pass catcher. You can sneak him in there, but amazing as it is to say, that's where the Rams are most vulnerable. And you've got a Dominican Sue and Aaron Donald right there, but they're up the field causing havoc kind of linemen. And so teams have been, when you run right at those two, teams have had success. So I think if the Bears are going to have a chance to win this, which I don't think they will, because I just think that team is progressing to, they're going to probably get the division because everybody else in the division is flopping. But I think the Rams, they'll do enough to win. Yeah, I don't think, I still consider Goff a top 10 quarterback, maybe around 9 or 10. Gurley, you got to always roll with him. Cooks, probably, depending on who else you have. But I think, again, it's going to be an exciting Sunday night game for sure.
Yeah. There are a lot of good matchups this week. It's like, with fantasy implications. One game that interests me is Philly and Dallas. Dallas, the defense has been hot lately, and Philadelphia, the offense is just they've just been struggling. A lot of people have Wentz, but probably not starting him as of late. You got a trio of receivers there in Jeffrey, Golden Tate, Aguilar, that really, all three of them are kind of struggling. And then you got a running back by committee. Is there anybody on Philly that you can trust fantasy-wise this week?
I'm just looking at my notes that I wrote. And I'll generally look at names that jump out at me and games that jump out at me. And it's great because we generally end up talking about them. I know you know your stuff. So it's really not. I especially jotted down, avoid Alshon Jeffrey. This guy, I mean, Simon Jones will probably guard him quite a bit. That doesn't help. But he hasn't scored since week 7.
Yeah.
And he hasn't totaled more than 50 yards in the last 5 games. He's not part of it. And we could actually see last week that Golden Tate started to emerge a bit more. So I think that even brings down, he's probably in a PPR format the only guy I would really trust. It's not even, Josh Adams has actually gotten 20-plus carries, in back-to-back games now. So you say, okay, they're using Clement and also Sproles again in complementary roles, passing roles. But then you look at the Dallas run defense. It's been very solid all year. They've only given up 5 plays of 20 or more yards on the ground.
Oh, wow. So,
again, I would say Golden State and PPR. After that, Wentz is performing outside the top 12. I would avoid everybody but that. Going on Dallas, who rides the studs. I mean, I've loved, only because I have him in some leagues, but the way Amari Cooper's emerged there.
Oh, yeah.
It's helped Dak's game. This is the receiver they needed. It's helped, Zeke. It's helped him, Zeke Elliott, and they kind of feed off each other again. Now you can use that play action. You actually have a weapon. So, I think I know a lot of people wait for the Cowboys to choke late in the year, but I know this has a feel of a game to me that the Cowboys kind of put a little stranglehold on the division.
Yeah. Has Cooper kind of proven his worth with the Cowboys traded a number 1 draft pick for him? I mean, it's going to be hard to live up to that kind of like equity, but has he started to make people a little less shocked about the first round draft pick that was traded for him?
Right, yeah, that's always going to kind of be held against him. I think that was a bit of a steep price, especially then you see where the Lions got or Philly was able to get Golden Tate, who's not an Amari Cooper, but still, what did we get? We got a
third round, yeah.
Yeah, so, but if you look at me, I think it was Cooper. Back-to-back games with 8 receptions. Obviously, the one was huge against the Redskins, where he had 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, but another 8 for 75 last week against the Saints. So, that's the production we're looking for. He's still young. Again, don't know exactly what the Raiders are doing with the trade. I know they got a lot of high draft picks, but I don't know that I trust Gruden, especially if he's involved in the draft selection process. I think the man is still coaching in the 90s, but I think, again, the youth of Cooper, is intriguing, and if he can develop a rapport with Prescott, which it looks like he's doing, well, they can definitely grow together. So, you've got to prove a talent. That's what they always talk about. If you blow that first round draft pick, you don't have to give because the talent doesn't prove itself out. But now you've got a proven talent, and he stepped up. And I think we can just see how misused he was. I know he battled some injuries last year. Derek Carr spoke to that, but in Oakland, in that dysfunctional offense against circa 1992 they're running.
Yeah. We got a matchup in the NFC that's pretty intriguing for its potential to be have some real offensive numbers, and that's New Orleans versus Tampa Bay. Now, New Orleans kind of a slow week last week, bit of a shocker actually, but this week I think they're going to be out for blood, and a Tampa Bay team with just a defense that it's like they're playing with 8 guys out there. Seems like sometimes. So do you think Drew Brees just lights it up?
I think there's great potential for that. The game is it's at Tampa,
it's
right?
in Tampa, so depending on what.
We'll see how the weather is, the field conditions are. Drew Brees is a bit of a different quarterback outside and inside. But you touched on a couple of factors. First and foremost, the Saints are trying to keep pace with the Rams to try to get that home field throughout the NFC playoffs because going to the Dome, is a tough task. So I think they're playing for that. Plus, you got to remember, back in week 1, Tampa Bay just lit up the Saints with Sid's magic.
Yeah.
Back then, and so I think that the Saints are going to come in here smarting up that loss to Dallas. The Tampa defense cannot do. They don't have the defensive line. They got Levante David back last week at linebacker, but they don't have the defensive line that Dallas does as far as again, as I touched on, run stopping. They don't have shut down defensive backs. They're really trouble. New Orleans. I think again, New Orleans is going to be mad. Drew Brees is going to be mad. I think that you start all your Saints, and then intriguing gangs. I wrote down some notes about this game. I'm glad you touched on it. A nice sneaky start, depending what your wide receiver situation is Adam Humphries at Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Deshaun Jackson's not playing again. Humphries, he hasn't put up huge yardage totals in the last 3 weeks. He has a touchdown in the last 3 games. And he's also got 5 touchdowns over the last 4 games. So, he's getting 9 red zone targets since week 8. He's one of the options there. But he's just a sneaky good name, depending on your, what your roster looks like. Again, no Deshaun Jackson. So, keep that name in mind.
Yeah. And then the running back situation in New Orleans, it's kind of crazy because week in and week out, you're never really sure who's going to take the lead. Is it going to be Kamara or is it going to be Ingram? If you have either of these guys, are they both must-starts?
I mean, of the two, I still believe that it is Kamara because he's utilized in the passing game, a lot more.
Yeah.
And as far as Ingram, I would say his ceiling probably this week is solid RB2 numbers. Again, just because, as you said, the usage from week to week. Like if you look, and again, they couldn't do much against Dallas last week, but Ingram only had 9 total touches, 7 rushes for 27 yards, and 2 receptions for 1 yard. Then you go back to week 10 and 11. I mean, again, why I like Kamara, again, is the touches, and obviously Ingram suspension, but Ingram still hasn't had more than 16 rushes in a game this year. So a couple of weeks in a row, he really got it done when he topped 100 yards against Cincinnati and Philadelphia and a couple of touchdowns. But, again, on that limited usage, the one I would trust most is Kamara.
Yeah. Now, Indianapolis and Houston, Andrew Luck has been lighting it up pretty consistently, and then goes in last week and gets shut out, and now he's got against Jacksonville, and now they got to go to Houston. Is this going to be more of the same from last week? Is Houston going to be able to shut down the Colts, or is Andrew Luck a pretty secure play this week?
In my notes again, I've got a downward pointing arrow for Andrew Luck, and I think it's just the matchup. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns in the first game against Houston, but that's before that team got rolling.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, just J.J. Watt and Davian Clowney are just making life miserable for quarterback. And there was a 5-week stretch where the Colts didn't give up a sack. Well, now they've given up, I think, 4 in the last 2 games. And Luck, obviously last week was shut out. He had 1 interception. The team had 2 total turnovers. But in fact, giving up the 3 sacks, it means there's some cracks in the armor on that offensive line. And you got J.J. Watt. You got Jadeveon Clowney. You got a Houston offense that I believe is going to be able to move the ball in Indianapolis, forcing them to throw a lot. And again, I think the more that Watt and Clowney get to pin their ears back and just do what they do best and get after the quarterback, I think it's going to be another long day for Luck. I mean, if I had to rank him, he'd still probably be around 10, 11, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to go with him because I don't know who your backup would be. Again, it's another one of those maybe temper your expectations performances.
Now, I'm gonna wrap it up here, but I want to know if you have anything you wanted to add, any sleepers that you had your eye on, any other specific advice you wanted to give out.
Well, again, and I'll try to be brief free spirit to it. I think, yeah, some names I jotted down. I think, again, another quarterback who's going to have a good week, who's probably down in the rankings, that's Josh Allen. And again, it's because you love how much he's been running the ball the last couple of games. And he also showed the ability to stand in the pocket and complete that deep pass. He doesn't have very many good receiving options, so tucking and running is working for him. Last 2 games, he's got 229 yards rushing, then a touchdown, 3 TDs, and 2 interceptions. So he's a good sneaky name. Again, I love James White. He's not really a sneaky name, and you could even maybe roll out Sony Michel because Miami allows 144.7 rush yards per game. Who else? Cortland Sutton from Denver. Now with Emmanuel Sanders out for the year. So, and the last, San Francisco last 2 games, that's who Denver plays this week. Have given up 26 receptions, 373 yards, and 5 touchdowns for wide receivers. And let me see if I can bring one more name down here. Go ahead and roll out it if you want to, only because he was so involved in the offense last week, and I think this team's looking to get healthy. You can roll out Jimmy Graham from Green Bay, finally saw 11 targets. Even rookie tight end Mark Andrews of Baltimore. Again, I love the game against Kansas City. I think get your Ravens in there. He seems to be the tight end of choice of late. He's got a little bit of a hookup with with Lamar Jackson. He's in the last couple games, he's got 121 yards receiving. And then just last week against Kansas City, Jared Cook went off for 7 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. So those are some sleepers.
Yeah. Well, all right, Wally. I know I'm pretty excited. I think we're in store for some big surprises this week. It's playoff time for most people, most leagues anyway. And so I wish you luck, and everybody listening. It's playoff time, baby. So
that's right. I wish everyone luck. You as well, Tom. Make sure to check out all my stuff, Pro Football Focus, and as Tom said it so definitely, good luck to everyone in the fantasy playoffs.
All right, Wally. We'll talk to you later.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.